welcome back to another episode of the Natty Teacher. I am, of course, your host. Who else but the Natty Teacher? And today, we got a push day. Our second push day of the week, okay? What do we got on the docket? Well, we got some lying cable Y raises to get us started, followed by some seated cable flies for the chest, of course. Then we'll move into some low incline dumbbell press. Then we have a seated chest press, like a converging chest press. We're going to move into some dips after that, kind of a transition between the chest and triceps. Then we will have our tricep pushdowns, just a good old school tricep pushdown. And then we actually will have a little bit more side delt volume at the end in the form of some seated dumbbell side laterals. Either just no more than 2 working sets, maybe just 1, we'll see, because we do start with 3 sets of some Y raises. But the way that my training is structured today, that should be just about right. So, yeah. So that looks like the layout. Of course, did my core and cardio work this morning. We're 4 meals deep, and because I'm driving a little bit to the gym today, feeling like having a little extra caffeine. Yeah, some White Monster, man. Now, this is obviously not my pre-workout, but it is just a nice way to get a little bit of caffeine. I'm going to chug one of these bad boys down. It's only about 150 milligrams, so nothing super, super crazy. Kind of listen to a podcast, all that kind of stuff, kind of get my head very relaxed. I'm not one of those guys who, like, what's a good way to word it? I don't really go into, like, a dark place very often in my training. I more get focused. Like, for me, it's just kind of like getting into that zone of, okay, we just had work, now let's work out. Let's get into the mindset of we're going to go in there and go balls to the wall. But I'm not like, on my way to the gym blast and death metal kind of thing, like where it's like, destruction and all that kind of stuff. I know for a fact the best workouts for me are the ones where I focus the most, and I'm like very calm and relaxed and just feel good. So that's what we'll do. I do have some, of course, mobility work and some warm-ups before we get into our first exercise. But for our first exercise, again, we got those lying cable Y raises, and the top set of that bad boy is coming at you right about now. All right, so to get us started, we have some lying Y raises. Now here, guys, the only difference that I did this past week, because I've actually already ran this push session again since this one. This was 2 sessions ago now for the second push session, is I actually brought the cables a little bit more towards the lower pecs. I felt a lot more power through there, felt a lot more consistent, and I felt like I could hit the side delts a lot more effectively. The stretch, while it's not bad, keeping my hands more kind of closer to like the rib cage seems to be, like sternum rib cage area, seems to be much more comfortable. So again, 3 working sets to start us off on this push session. This still felt good, but I will say that in the next push session after this one, my hands were definitely in more of a spot kind of closer, kind of like this, but even slightly higher than this. It was a lot more comfortable, felt it a lot more in the side delts, and felt like I could drive through the side delts a lot more effectively. So again, 3 working sets here. This still felt good, but definitely in my next push session, I felt this exercise a lot more, but this definitely has become one of my favorite side delt builders for sure in this off season. So again, 3 working sets here. Then 2 working sets of some cable flies. What you'll see here, if you look closely at the bench in the back, I do actually have it inclined just 1 notch. So instead of being inclined 1 notch from 90 degrees, like a shoulder press bench where it's completely 90 degrees. It's 1 notch back from that instead of being just completely sat up. Felt like this took a lot more tension off of my shoulders. Felt like I could focus much more on my chest with this particular variation, and it felt really good. So we did 2 working sets here. Both of these were kind of towards the upper end of the amount of reps I would want to do in a set. Both of these were sets of 12. Sorry, I do apologize for my voice. I'm still under the weather. So this obviously, again, a couple weeks after this session, but feeling better for sure. But anyways, I'm just in here, honey. But again, 2 working sets here, both sets of 12. And then we got onto our pressing movements. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, baby. Mwah. Mwah. Hello. Yeah, I'm just finishing up a little voiceover real quick. Anyways, so yeah. So this got us nice and primed up and ready to rock for our pressing. Then we moved into a low incline dumbbell press. I'm actually doing my low incline dumbbell press slightly different, not quite as not quite as much of a hard pause at the bottom. More just kind of get that full range of motion, get it all the way down, get it all the way up, kind of keep it moving a little bit, and also kind of keeping those elbows, I don't want to say in a neutral position, but not quite as flared out as I was doing it. It felt much, much better. This was my first time doing it, so it felt a little awkward in this session. I was still actually able to get 9 reps here with the 110, so I was really happy with that. But I did it last week as well with the same kind of form and a little bit slightly more controlled even, and that felt really, really good. And we ended up doing 2 working sets with the 110s this past week, so that was really good. Anyways, on to our 2 working sets in this session as well, one with the 110s, one with the 100s, and then moved into, again, one of my favorite chest pressing variations, just a nice seated cable press. This is, the bench here is at 90 degrees, so there is no incline to this bench whatsoever as far as past 90. So sitting straight up and down, and again, keeping those arms in a slightly neutral position, not flared up too high, and just driving through, getting as much of a squeeze in the chest as we possibly can. So 2 working sets here as well, and that will conclude our direct chest work. Okay, and moving on to an exercise that I have not done in a while, so don't make fun of me here. This is like the 5th exercise of my workout, and I haven't done this one in a while. Felt much better this past week. Some good old school dips. Man, I have not done dips in a very, very long time. I noticed I was doing a ton of pressing with my close grip bench and all that. It was just a little bit overkill. So I'm like, what's a great movement that we could fit in between? Kuba Challenge coming in clutch again, throwing in some dips. I'm like, you know what, Kuba, I'm going to steal this one from you as well. So we got some good old bodyweight dips. We did 2 working sets here. Phenomenal transition movement from going direct chest work into some tricep work as well, because obviously we're getting a lot of chest, we're getting a lot of triceps and some shoulders in this bad boy. So it's just a phenomenal top line builder for sure. But good hearty stretch, and definitely progressing on this one quick. Already added a rep to my top and back off sets this past week to this, so it's moving up quick. Then tricep pushdowns, guys. Basic stuff. Nothing super fancy here. This is just, it's a good old school tricep pushdown, allowing to get, definitely allowing, the hands to get stretched ever so slightly past 90 degrees, and then really pushing down hard through and squeezing in the triceps at the bottom. We did 3 working sets here, 2 working sets of dips. I don't know if I said that or not. I probably did, but 3 working sets here as well for direct tricep work. Obviously, we're getting a pretty fair amount of triceps in the dip movement as well. But this one I do keep the reps slightly higher. You probably won't catch me doing a tricep pushdown for a set of 6. I would say that 8 to 12, 8 to 15 odd rep range is usually more where I kind of sit with this. That seems to feel pretty good. Then at the end here, we kind of mixed it up a little bit. And I didn't do it this past session, but I think from time to time, I will throw this in just kind of as needed. I threw in a little bit more side delt work, 2 working sets here, keeping it a little bit in that higher rep range, of just some good seated dumbbell side laterals, man. Nothing wrong with this one. I let the form be a little bit more fluid here, so I'm not pausing at the top or sitting and doing some big stretch at the bottom or doing some 5-second eccentric on the way down. I'm just raising the dumbbells up and out. That's really about it, man. I'm trying to keep those elbows above, and just really trying to put as much tension onto the side delts as we possibly can. Again, didn't do it this previous week, but this session 2 weeks ago, I just threw it in at the end, and it felt pretty good. And like I said, it's one of those things where as long as I can recover from it, I may add this in more consistently in the second push session, but didn't this past week. On to the outro. All right, little night vision outro here. So push B finito. Hey man, it was a great session, awesome session. The only thing I ran into again was a few bouts of overthinking a few exercises. I feel like I finally ironed out everything, and now I can really progress. And with this split to where I have this additional rest day, it was weird coming off of a rest day. It almost felt like my body was over relaxed. I was super hydrated today, I probably could have been a little more hydrated, but had 4 good meals in, got some, pretty dang good sleep last night after a streak of not so great sleep. And it was one of those workouts where I just felt like I was there, you know what I mean? And progress was being made, but mentally I just couldn't like fully lock in. I think I was a little too distracted. It definitely took away from my workout a little bit, at least the mental part of it, but strength-wise and everything else felt really good. So no complaints at all there, man. So yeah, anyways, great stuff. I am digging the pressing tempo I'm doing with the dumbbells now, because you guys got to realize when you're stabilizing heavy dumbbells, coming to like a complete hard stop at the bottom of the movement, it's very challenging. It's difficult. I'm not saying that it's not possible and that you can't or shouldn't do that, but for me, I like to kind of, come to those hard stops on certain exercises. I think you have to kind of pick and choose what works and feels best for you. For me, what feels best is like on a Smith machine, or on like a plate-loaded incline, or like a machine chest press, something where I can really sit in that deep stretch and the tension isn't like crazy unbearable like it is with heavier dumbbells at the very, very bottom. Those are the ones where I like to have those hard pauses, hard stops, okay, at the bottom. But for dumbbells, I found that today, I think it was just kind of proof in the pudding, utilizing more of a soft pause, being cautious. There was like a rep or two I did in mine where I felt like I was kind of like not bouncing it off the chest, but not quite soft pausing enough. Again, not trying to overthink it too much. And that very much so when I talk about it, it sounds like I'm overthinking it, but I'm just analyzing, not trying to think about it too much. But I will say that tempo seemed to feel better. It felt a little weird because I brought my elbows ever so slightly in to kind of drive a little bit more, through the chest, kind of take a little bit of tension off of the like really stretching the shoulders like I was, and it felt good. It just felt awkward because I'm just so not used to pressing like that. I haven't pressed like that in a very long time, especially with that deep of a range of motion. So I was happy with how it went. I actually added a rep to my top set, and that was last week I had done my low incline dumbbell press second. This week I did it third and still added a rep. So in the long run, I was actually still very happy with that. But it was just one of those things where I was kind of like, I couldn't connect with it as much. I'm not used to pressing like that. Just the entire workout just felt, again, I was there, I was doing what I had to do, progress was being made, just wasn't quite locked in like I would have liked to have been, which again, totally okay, it happens. My first workouts this week were very much so, especially the first two, were very, very locked in. And this one just was kind of like, it was good, it was a really good workout. Just wasn't as locked in as I would have liked to have been. So, but no, other than that, great session, man. Definitely excited to build off of the progress I made. I did dips for the first time in a very long time because I didn't want to go press like I have been for a while. Doing like a low incline dumbbell press, and then a heavier cable press, and then on top of that doing like a close grip bench press for the triceps. But obviously you're still getting a lot of shoulders and a lot of chest from that. That was a little much. So of course I replaced it with dips, which is a very challenging exercise that also has the chest and shoulders. What am I going to come on? But it is definitely different, and I really am excited to progress dips and have that as kind of my transition, movement between finishing up the chest portion of my push days and then, closing out with the tricep movements, because obviously dips are a phenomenal balance of both chest and triceps with some shoulders in there as well. So, but obviously under much different loads and tensions and all that kind of stuff than compared to like a close grip bench. But regardless, again, man, great session. Tomorrow for me, but a few days from now for you guys, we'll have our second pull session of the week. So that'll be awesome. Can never have a big enough back, man. Got to keep growing the back for sure. So excited to get in there and rock that one out, no doubt. Yeah. Core and cardio was completed this morning, so don't have anything to do when I get home. It's pretty late, and I had to stop at the grocery store. We had a staff meeting after work, so it's like 7:30, and I'm still probably 15 minutes away from home. It's pretty late, so I'm going to head in there and get my breakfast ready and all that kind of stuff for tomorrow, and then, go from there. So, yeah, great session, though, and now it's my little outro pitch. So if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Really means a lot to me, means a lot to the channel and its continued growth, guys. I really appreciate it, I really do. And make sure you like and share this video. Drop any comments, questions, or feedback you got down below. And other than that, man, hey, everybody, God bless. hopefully your day was awesome. Hopefully your workout was awesome. Or maybe your workout will be awesome if you haven't completed it yet. Hopefully it will be awesome. It will be. It will be awesome. It will be awesome. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. And other than that, man, hey, from myself, the Natty teacher, and from the whole Natty family and the Natty community, I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. And this episode of Road to Natty Pro is out. See you for Pull B in a couple days from now for you guys. Peace.